Hello, fans of Vasjen. Hello, fans of Future London Academy. My name is Ekaterina Solomina. I'm the co-founder of Future London Academy. And we're here today with an incredible Vasjen Katro, visual designer. He committed to designing one poster a day for a year, and you are now on your second year and going strong. You've been featured probably at every design publication, including Sweetsmiths, Abduzito, Cubies, Design Taxi. There are lots of followers of your work. You created this series called Baugasm, and it feels like it's trending. It's a hashtag, it's a movement, and there are lots of tutorials from you on Skillshare where you explain how you do your work. So I'm really happy that today we are going to talk about what goes behind the scenes, what inspires you, and all the secrets that you didn't reveal yet to your fans. Hopefully we'll be able to discuss them. Before we start, I thought for people who might not know your work, how about I show them what it's all about? And I have these wonderful posters in front of me. Guys, they are incredible, very colorful. There are so many of them. I seriously cannot believe that you had a commitment to create so much colorful, beautiful work. Seriously, we've been admiring you for a very long time. So such a pleasure, Vasjen.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that, and all the nice words. Yeah, I mean, it has been quite a journey, and it has been kind of a fun one, actually, because it started as a funny and stupid project for me, and I like it to keep it like that, because if it is like, you know, like something that I spend some time every day, it's just fun for me. If it gets more than that, it just becomes tiring. And I'm not saying that it's not. Actually, it became like a part of my day and part of my life in a way. And I finished the first year, and then I was like, I'm going to do a second year, and let's see what I'm going to learn the second year. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty fun.
How did you decide to do that in the first place? Did someone tell you that would be a cool idea? You were just sitting down and thought, why not commit to a year of hard work?
Well, here's the thing. Like a few years ago, I decided, I was like, I mean, in design, I was more into UI and UX, like building apps and designing apps, mobile and web applications. And graphic design as a different niche in a way has been like a side thing for me. I've been working with different companies and always found like a gap on my daily routine, working for different startups, building their apps, as a part of like designing posters. And a few years ago, I decided, like I said, like, what if I challenge myself like to design a poster every day for like 2 months and for like 60 days, and I called it 60 designs. And I started doing that, and I was posting the posters on my own website, no social media at all. And when I was posting those, I was like, you know, I was posting them on my own personal site. So people who saw those designs were friends, family, and people who I was directing them to my website to see them. And I sort of failed in a way, because I went until the day 40, and I kind of quit on it. I was younger. I was also on a moment where I had a lot of things to figure out life-wise, and I didn't have that excitement and that like communication and the community as, for example, now on Instagram with Baugasm is. And after I did that, that stuck on my mind as something that I failed and something that, you know, I never finished. And like a year ago, I mean, I loved Instagram, and I still love it, because I had my own personal portfolio, or like personal account, where I was sharing photos, and I'm like really passionate. It's a hobby for me, like taking photos and shooting videos under Vasjen Katro, if all of you haven't seen it. And while I was sharing photos there, I didn't have a space to share on Instagram design work, and I didn't want to mess up my account. So I said, like, what if I open a different account where I share graphical work? But at the time, I was like doing a lot of works for clients, and some I liked, some I didn't like. So I was like, what if I dedicate to this account something that is just my own creation, my own stuff, without having a brief, just, you know, my own inspiration and my own thoughts and like creativity on it. And that's how I decided, like, oh, maybe I should go back to that project I did a few years ago and start doing it on Instagram, because Instagram is, I found out that was the right medium to share and get like feedback from designers, but at the same time from amateurs and people who just love aesthetics and good design. So that's how I started, and I said, like,
and what was different, like, from you quitting last time after 40 days to suddenly going the year and not stopping? What do you feel was the difference now?
I think is the difference is that I'm much more changed as a skills, but in the same time I grew up more into like learning how to be more consistent and like organized, and in the same time I think the community itself is like it's a big deal, because people started leaving comments, I started getting some exposure on the web, and that is like a huge motivation to keep going and doing what I'm doing. And that was one of the reasons why I kept going, and I built a community. I don't know how many followers I had when I finished the first year, but I was like, what if I end it now? What should I do? And I didn't have time in a year to figure out what I'm going to do next. And I still, to this day, I have a few ideas what I'm going to do with the Baugasm project. But, you know, I said, like, I'm going to push myself to do one more year. And because I learned so many stuff during the first year, I learned how to play more with 3D, with animations, stuff that I would never, actually, this is why I love this project, because it's something that it's like a reason for me to experiment with new stuff. And it's a reason for me to, you know, like learn new stuff every day. Like now I've been like, I finished university for computing science and multimedia. I have a bachelor in that. And I mean, I know how to code front end and stuff like that, but also like back end a little bit. But since then I haven't worked much on that field, like coding myself. So
what do you feel was your biggest learning from that year? Not necessarily technical, but maybe something you discovered about yourself and any kind of traits of character that you created by committing.
Well, here's the thing, like everything you read, like I read a lot of books about like inspirational, being an entrepreneur, about how to educate yourself, how to work with your habits and change them. And during all those learning sessions, you figure out that everything is true after you do it, and being consistent. I think that's what I learned on myself. Like everyone can do it if you just stick to it, and if you decide that I'm going to do this, and every day you push yourself to just do it and get it done. It's like, yeah.
Oh wow, that's like such a big commitment. Someone just asked you a question on that. Were you ever tempted to make 2 or 3 posters on a good day to make up for the days you are stuck without inspiration?
Usually I've done, I would say I have a number. I've done that maybe 2 times or 3 times. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I did that is I had a trip to Italy, and I knew I wouldn't have internet, and like I wouldn't have access to my laptop as much as I wanted. So I did like 2 or 3 posters in a day. But the thing is, if I do that, I know that they're all not going to be that good, because if I spend more time with one, I know that there are good days that I could do so many stuff, but I like to stick to doing 1 a day, because it's like a better commitment, and I have enough time to work on 1 than I would work on 3. So I've done that 2
Makes
times.
sense. How long does it take you to create 1 poster?
Well, that's like a relative, I don't know. I mean, for example, today I haven't done the poster. Yesterday I did it early in the day. Usually I do it after I finish all the other stuff that I have to do during the day, other to-dos. And actually, when there are days that it takes a full day, because I start working on a little bit with some ideas in the morning, and then I touch base during the afternoon, where, you know, I got more, and I look back at it, I'm like, I don't like this, I'm going to change it. And there are days that takes me like 10 minutes, because I know what I'm going to try. It's something new, I'm excited, it just takes me 10 minutes, put it out there, I'm like, better like this. If I mess up more with it, I'm just gonna mess it up and I'll just post it and put it out there.
Brilliant.
And this is one of the things that I learned is that like if you spend more time on one and you take a lot of time working on it, you're either going to mess it up or it's always the case. I mean, all my designs are never finished. So for everyone that is new into this or like graphic design that never happy with their work, know that it's never going to be great because you're always going to have things to add or change and so on. You're either going to mess it up. It's like, if you're happy with it right now, just put it out there. Don't think. There are people who, like, for example, there could be this username like Johnny123 or whatever. It's going to be asking something like, sorry, somebody is in the studio. I'm really sorry.
You have a dog. That's so cute.
Yeah, my dog is here. And the thing is, when somebody is like commenting bad stuff, it brings you really down, you know. But I don't care about that because you don't know how to do something in a year every day, how difficult that is. So there are going to be good days and bad days. So I don't care about it anymore. I just put it out there and I'm like,
such a brilliant advice. And actually someone is asking right now, Nick is asking, how do you constantly push yourself, especially if you have a bad day? How do you make sure you sit down and do great work?
Well, there are always bad days, and as I mentioned, like I touched a little bit based on this, what I was explaining is that, you know, you just do it, like whatever it is. I see it. I like to brainstorm if I'm stuck with something, but you know, I just do whatever I can do that day and just put it out there. I don't care what it's going to end up being, because this is a fun part about this project is that, you know, I don't have anyone to give me feedback or directions, and in the end it's not a person or a company or a client that is going to make the decision to put it out there or should this go public or not. So it's me, and I decide if this is good or not, even if it's bad. And I know, I'm like, I don't care, I just put out there, let's see. There are going to be people who are going to like it. So
there's so many people commenting that absolutely love your work and love what you're saying.
Everyone.
So yeah, I totally agree that so many designers have this state of mind that everything needs to be perfect. So projects like that, where you know you have to do everything every day, kind of give you that mindset that no matter what you're producing, you have to do a different one next day, a different one next day. So definitely for everyone who feels they're too perfectionist, try that challenge. What inspires you? Where did you get inspiration from? Maybe favorite artists, books?
The thing is, I wouldn't say that I have like favorite artists because I like a lot. Here's the thing, like I try to mix a lot of stuff in the same time. I like painting, and this is the challenge that the Baugasm project has, is that I had to go beyond one application. I had to go beyond just Photoshop or Illustrator. I had to go and experiment with Cinema 4D. I had to go and experiment with After Effects, and then I was like, what if I combine all these tools together, what stuff I can come up with? And I started like painting and like taking photos of the paintings, and I also like started photographing elements like organic materials and like photographing them, digitalizing them, adding them on Photoshop, then bringing some elements from Illustrator and something from 3D, putting it together, move that on After Effects, animate that thing, you created something unique. So that's the thing, like I try to, you know, to combine all the things together. So yeah.
Brilliant. Oh, there are people who obviously are fans of your work, so they already are kind of answering each other what kind of techniques you use, and that's great to hear that you combine physical and digital. But apart from this incredible project that you have, you do also commercial work. So tell us more about what happens apart from Baugasm, and what kind of projects do you work on?
The thing is, like when I just started Baugasm project, I was more focused in UI and UX, like working with new startups, old startups, big companies that they were working on UI and UX, like building their applications or websites. So most of the clients were based on that. But lately, I've been focused more into graphic design and communication design in general. So Yeah, I mean, most of the clients usually like my style, and like new clients, I mean, they like the style, and they know that what they're gonna get from me, it's similar to that, or like they find like a matching thing between what they want to achieve or what they want to put out there with what I can do for them. So, and most of the times they give me like creative freedom, so I can do whatever I want. There is a brief, but this is what I like about this, that, you know, most of the clients that I work now, they know what I can do, and they came to me because they like what they saw. So it's not like, we want like this complete thing that doesn't
Yeah.
have anything to do with my style. I'm like, sorry, I can't do that. And I use one advice I would give related to this is that since I started out, there were times that I had to get every kind of client when I was a student, just, you know, to pay my bills and stuff like that. But then I said, like, better few clients than a lot of clients, because if I can choose these clients, I know that the works that I'm going to do are going to be as stuff that I like, and I'm going to be proud of them, and like put on my portfolio things that I'm really proud of. And the next clients that are going to come after that, they're going to see what I did that I'm still happy with. So I'm going to be, you know, it's like a chain. It's like you're going to come back to me in a good way. Because if I put out things that I never was happy about, or like, you know, ended up being as the client wanted them, the next client is going to be pretty the same. So that's yeah.
Good advice. And talking about great clients, you created a splash screen for Adobe Illustrator,
Yeah.
which was such a beautiful project. But what's interesting about it, you created in collaboration with another artist.
Yeah.
So can you tell more about the process of that, and how was it difficult to work on top of someone else's creative work?
Actually, not really, because like since I'm doing the Baugasm project, I was always trying to collaborate with different artists, and because as I explained before, I like to mix paint, 3D, and a lot of stuff. So I kind of have a lot of experience in different fields, and I've been working with those stuff before. So like working with illustrators, working with 3D artists, working with painters, or like any other niche in design, I sort of have touched a little bit base myself. So when it comes to collaborating with different artists, I sort of have, here is Ori. Ori just joined. You go and check out Ori. He's like pretty cool, and love his work, and you're gonna love it too, I'm pretty sure. Very unique. And like when I started, when we got contracted from Adobe to do the splash screen, I was introduced to Ori, and I was like, oh my God, I can do so much stuff with all his stuff. So I knew that there was a lot of space for us to experiment with, and it went pretty good. We tried a few ideas, and we ended up doing what we did, and actually we just shared on we just shared on Behance the whole time lapse and the process of the splash screen. So yeah, I mean, you have to try different fields and experiment with different areas, even if there are like different artists that is not your style. See that as a challenge, as like, what can I do to combine my style? And here's the thing, another extra to that is that I don't think that, I never thought that I would have one style. My style is sort of evolving a little bit during the time, and it has evolved because I'm trying new stuff in the same time. So I would recommend to everyone, don't stick with the style. And Ori is a really good example with this, because if you see Ori's previous work is a little bit different, and if you see his last work is completely different. And I love artists and designers who are like that, because exploring, like, if you master one style, you are like, what can I do next? Let me experiment with something else. And I see a lot of young designers right now getting inspired from the Baugasm project, and they're sort of imitating the work. I blame the tutorials, but I mean, I don't care about that. But the thing is, you have to find your own style and master it, and then move to a different thing, like evolve through it, you know?
And when is the good time to move to a different style? Because I feel like if you become successful with one very distinct style, it's so difficult to suddenly move to something.
It is, but I mean, for most of the people who see my work, they're going to see it as like, ah, it's the same thing all over. But for me, it's not the same because like some 2 months ago, I was experimenting with different style of 3D. Now I'm experimenting with different style of 3D and so on. But one thing that hasn't changed on my work is the colors. I love experimenting with those colors that I keep using all the time. So I'm trying to mix stuff together, but at the same time to have the same aesthetic in a way. But as a style, things have changed. Before I was doing 2D, now I'm doing 3D, then I added animation. And as I said in the beginning, people complain and leave comments because some people are mean and you have nothing to do about that, but they don't go into deep and understand what's going on behind. And the thing is, I'm doing this every day, and this is a fun project for me. I'm doing this because I want to learn more stuff and I want to get better at it. So with this said, it's like a project for me that I'm teaching myself to get better at animation and 3D and stuff like that. So like it or don't, for me, I learned something that day, even though you don't like the poster. So I learned something new.
Oh, great. And the guys are saying you're such a great inspiration to all
thank
of
you,
us.
everyone.
I totally agree with that. You're
Thank
from
you.
Albania, is
Yeah.
that correct? Yes.
Yeah.
Tell us, we don't know that many designers from Albania. What's the design scene is like there, and how is it to be an Albanian designer?
The thing is, I always never consider myself as being a local designer in general because I saw internet as being my field for where I can work and do my spread my design and portfolio. So I would consider myself as a person who likes to share stuff internationally and not locally. But the design scene in Albania has not been pretty good in the past years. I see that it's growing a lot, and there are a lot of young designers starting right now, and I'm very happy for it because a few years ago when was so difficult to find other people around here and work and create, like even hire designers in Albania was a bit difficult because they were so rare, and the good ones always worked for a big company and maybe just left Albania and worked somewhere else. So the design scene is evolving and is changing, and I think, yeah, but it's not that great, as great as I would like it to be. Albania is very small. I mean, you have to understand that part as well, that Albania has like a 3 million population. It's a small country, and yeah, but basically that's all.
Great. It's great that we as Future Academy, we always love to introduce various international designers. So I feel like there are so many countries and cities that we don't hear about, but there are so many creative people there. So it's good to meet you face to face and hear what's going on in your country.
Totally.
You sit in a lovely studio. I can see really nice things behind you. Is this where you work?
Yeah, this is my, it's a small space. It's next to it's kind of close to my house. And this is like a small space that I share right now with my girlfriend. We both work from here. And it's like, yeah, I mean, it's a small place, but I love like having that distinction from home. And I used to work a lot at home. I also had a studio. But like I like having this one because it's like a place where I get up in the morning and like I'm gonna go there, and every time I'm here I have to work and not do something else, like sit and watch like a show or something. but yeah, I mean, I have everything that I need in the studio, even this pegboard. I mean, I like, as I said, I like to experiment with a lot of stuff like painting and stuff like that. So having the pegboard, actually, I'm going to give you a good example. I say this all the time, but like all the tools that are in there always have been in drawers and like hidden somewhere. And I never found a space. If I wanted to use a tool or something, always had to go and open drawers and like find them, and always was difficult. But like having this thing in here, I know that if I need whatever, like a brush or something like that, I just go and pick it up and put it back there. And next time it's going to be easier for me to find it out. And that is like comparison to what you can do as tools with different applications. It's the same, because think about it. You have all the tools in Photoshop. You have all the tools in Illustrator. Cinema 4D, After Effects. And if you combine all those tools together, but you have to see them, and you have to think when you open an app the same way as this. And there you can use those and create mixed stuff together. Anyway, sorry, I deviated a little bit from your question.
Good.
But yeah, I mean, this is the studio. I'm really obsessed with cameras. So I have a good collection of cameras here as well, like old vintage cameras. And yeah, I mean, it's a space that I love, and I have kind of mixed a lot of stuff and put a lot of things.
It looks super cute and friendly, and we can hear the dog earlier, so it seems like it's a lovely place to be. Talking about all the software and different skills that you acquired from acrylic painting to Cinema 4D, how did you learn these things? Were you watching tutorials? Did you do it on your own?
I find myself that even before Baugasm project, I have this thing that I get obsessed with one thing and I want to master it, and I want to spend like a month. I spent like last 2-3 months working a lot with like, you know, developing my own film for my film cameras, and I spend a lot of money buying equipment and like developing the film. And after I did that, I'm like, okay, I have a pretty good knowledge of this thing. And then after that, I was like, I want to experiment with screen printing and like print my own T-shirts. So I spent last year, I spent like 2 months working and mastering how to do screen printing. So basically, the same happened with painting. I was experimenting with paint. I was painting a few years ago. I got obsessed for like 2-3 months. I was just, you know, painting a lot of canvases and stuff like that. So like, knowing a little bit from everything, in the end, you're going to be back at the pegboard where you know that if you want to achieve something, you sort of have a knowledge how to do the screen print, you have a knowledge how to develop the film, you have that knowledge how to mix the colors and photograph them. I'm going back to photography now, and then going back to film and like video editing and doing the animation. So it's like all these things together, combined together, you just know a little bit of everything. So now, for example, I want to learn more into processing and like doing animations with code. So that's like a different field where I'm going to be focused more in learning. And like, it doesn't mean to be, you know, professional on that, because you just knowing the basics basically gives you like a better understanding of what you can do with the tools, and like adding more stuff, it just, you know,
yeah,
you get it.
Totally makes sense. Well, what do you think? You're obviously brilliant at so many things and so many different tools and style and color, but what do you think you're not so good at? And do you feel like you're lacking something? And what's your plan on developing this skill or feature of yourself?
I'm not good at like illustrating in general, like characters and stuff like that. I always hated that on myself. I wish when I was younger, my parents pushed me more on like drawing. I did for a while, but then I stopped. I moved to computers and video games and stuff like that. And music was like a big passion of mine, and that's how I started actually design. Fun story, but like illustration is one of the things that I wish I would be better at, and like you know, like drawing and like creating characters. Because if you have that as a niche, you are really good at modeling in 3D. And you can take ideas from the illustration, from paper, then digitalize it on 2D Illustrator, make a vector of it. And then if you have that as a skill, you are really good at modeling as well. So that's one of the things that I wish I would be better. And I'm not saying that I can't be. Maybe I'm going to start a different challenge, just learning how to draw. But I don't know how that would go, because probably it's going to be much more difficult for me to master that in this age and this time and this moment than used to be when I was probably younger and a kid. But yeah, that's one of the things that I wish I would be better. And also like coding, I wish that's something that I'm going to be focused more in learning. But yeah.
What are you working on at the moment? What's in your screen? Just before I called you.
Actually, I was like, because tomorrow I'm flying to Budapest and I'm going to be there for a few days. So if there are people here, creatives from Budapest, we'd love to meet with them. and I was like running some errands, so I just came to the studio, and all my computers are actually switched off, so I was not looking at something specific, but I was checking messages and emails on my phone, and then yeah, I had to jump on the call, and I have another call. Yeah.
Oh, cool. So yeah, I know you're such a busy, such a popular man.
Oh no,
so
it's
what?
not.
What's the project that you're working on the moment, or will be? Will be coming your way soon. What will be the next challenge?
Well, some of the projects I can't say because they are confidential, are for a few clients. But yeah, I mean, like I'm doing some personal stuff. Like I'm trying to make some videos. We have this plan with my girlfriend that we are shooting something, and that's something that I'm really looking forward. And yeah, probably I'm gonna also like I'm thinking of making my own change on the website. My own portfolio has been like a side thing for a very long time, so I started working on that as well, and that is a challenge of like learning a little bit more on backend and stuff like that. And as projects, all the exciting ones, I can't mention them right now because they're sort of confidential and they can be published because that's what.
Okay, we'll have to check in with you later and figure out what was the secret project you couldn't talk about. That sounds exciting.
Cool, yeah.
So what do you know what was the most famous poster that you've done that acquired the most likes or was shared the most times? And do you have an idea why that happened?
I don't know if there is one in particular that is like crazy and went viral. I think there are a few that are really like preferred from people in general, but I don't know, like as far as I can look back at it, I think the posters that have more like vibrant colors, like more like a unique style to it, or like something different in sense of introducing, for example, 3D portraits or like stuff that people are not used to look, and even some stuff that are with typography and writing. For example, I have this one that I really love. It's simple. It's early in the days when I started Baugasm. It's like this design will save the world just after Kanye does for Kanye West, and that's one of my favorite because the quote is very nice, and that's one of the posters that it's mostly sold on my shop. So I don't know, I can't point to any specific ones, but
makes sense. You use a lot,
some of the cool ones that people really love are also the video ones, the animated posters with music and stuff like that. So that's something that people also prefer in general. But yeah,
I've seen your latest series. It's so beautiful when you animate them, and it's something completely out of this world because poster is a very traditional thing. So suddenly when it becomes animated in digital, I definitely think that is a new wave of design. You use a lot of text, or sometimes you use text in your posters. What do you write there? I read some of the things that are in the posters. Where do you even get them?
Sometimes I spend time thinking about what should I write, but most of the time I just something that just gets in my mind from a song that I'm listening on the background, or sometimes it's just the title of a song. Sometimes it's like how I feel about something specific. It's just, nothing that fancy or like thoughtful and crazy about it. It's
What's your favorite song at the moment?
I'm obsessed with Stir Fry by Migos. Here's the thing. I love electronic music and experimental music, but I don't know what's happening with me. Last couple of months, I'm really obsessed with hip hop, and I don't know, maybe it's like a crazy thing going on, and like, but I really, it's something that it's fun. You just leave it play on the background. I can't listen anymore to techno and tech house and minimal tech on the background as I work. It's something that I can't do anymore. So I have a playlist, Baugasm playlist, actually, for people who really want to see what I listen to. It's not, I promise it's not only hip hop. It's like a mix of stuff. So if you go to Spotify and you search for Baugasm playlist, you're gonna like some other stuff.
Do you think it will inspire people to create similar type of posters if they listen to similar type of music?
Well, here's the thing. I think in a way that's sort of connected, because when I started designing, I was producing music at the time, like electronic music, and when I had my first contract with the label, they proposed the design for it, and I was like, oh, I don't like this. What if I try something myself? And that's how I started into design. So always my design style has sort of been connected to the music and to the electronic music. And if you think hip hop has its own aesthetics, electronic music has its own aesthetics, and I think always design is kind of related to that. So yeah, in a way, the playlist actually is kind of a mix of different stuff, things that I like, and just add them there. And the reason why I made the playlist is because I was doing these stories, live stories, where while I was designing the posters, I was also doing a live show of how I'm making the posters, and I always had music on the background. And people kept asking, like, what are you listening, and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Oh, brilliant. People keep asking kind of similar questions about what is your day like? How do you combine the commercial work and your posters? Do you dedicate specific time to doing your personal work and the rest? How do you plan your day? So tell us, how does your day usually look like, and how do you plan it?
If my day is not that busy, I start early in the day working on the poster. But if my day is I have bigger priorities, work deadlines and work for client, I usually take time to do those first and then move to the poster. And most of the time, posters are done late at night and the evening. And I don't like doing that because I'm kind of tired at the time, and like sometimes I feel like, I should spend time just get it done and put it out there and just go on bed and watch a series of Friends or whatever. And I don't want. I try to don't do that and try to start early in the day, but depends how my day is. So sort of I give priorities to the client work and then move to the poster, because I know I'm going to find some time during the day to do the poster.
Brilliant. There are so many people saying that you help them get a job by inspiring doing these projects, or
they
really inspire. Yeah, so really, really nice. You inspired
Awesome.
a lot of people and changed people's lives. So that's definitely great.
Amazing.
I have 10 rapid questions that I'm going to ask you. Don't think too long. You can answer in a couple.
I've seen this in shows, but I never thought I would do it, so I don't know how it's gonna go. Okay.
Let's try. Okay. Blade Runner, original or the 2017 version?
The new version. I love it.
London or New York?
I never been to London, but I love New York.
Come to London next time.
Definitely.
Favorite food?
Pizza.
Favorite breakfast food?
Pancakes.
Are you a night or a morning person?
I'm a night person, totally.
Photoshop or Illustrator?
Photoshop. But I mean, I love Illustrator too. Sorry.
Oh, good.
Both.
Summer or winter?
I like winter. Crazy, but don't ask me.
Proper snow winter. Okay. Favorite font?
Futura.
Futura. Great choice. What do you usually wear to work?
Casual, like a hoodie, jeans, and sneakers.
Nice. The last book you've read?
The Power of Habit.
Good one. The song you're listening right now?
Migos, Stir Fry, but I mean, I try to listen to a lot of stuff.
Great. That was our rapid question session.
Awesome.
You did well.
Yeah,
Guys,
I mean,
if you have
it was
any questions,
easier than I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, you passed the test. So we have last 10 minutes. So guys, if you have any questions, ask them now. Then we will be able to discuss them together with Vasjen. While we are waiting for people to ask questions, what would be your goal for the next year? What are you looking for?
The thing is, this is as for the Baugasm and as for myself, it's like trying to learn more stuff. That's my my priority, and like I want to get better at everything that I want to try out. So that's the ultimate goal on my life perspective as seeing it back. Like if I want to master something, I just find the time and do it on that. And the goal for this year is like, you know, just doing what I'm doing, learning more stuff, meeting a lot of people and connecting with a lot of creatives. So I love sharing stuff and I love talking with other people and getting to know different cultures and people who, you know, see their perspective on design and how they are, where they are.
Do you have an advice for someone who is about to start doing design or is already doing design and wants to be better at that? What would you recommend them doing?
One thing, be consistent.
Good advice. Good advice.
That's all.
Well, people are asking really nice questions.
Already, you know why my hair. You already knows why my hair is so nice. So you asked me that.
What is your secret? Tell us.
Nothing. Just wear a hat before you model your.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, I think probably people have lots of many questions when they'll see the actual interview.
If you want, you can choose the questions and I can answer them. So
some people asking, how old are you?
I'm 29, unfortunately, right now. I had my birthday on January, so.
Oh, happy belated birthday!
Thank you.
What time did you start designing? At what age?
I think I was 14 years old. When I was into music, but then I was like doing some photo manipulations and with photography, and then moved to design as part of like evolving together music, and then I went to code, and I kind of left music apart and like design and code, and then I left code a little bit apart, so I spend more time on design. Yeah.
Who is the artist that you admire right now, or a designer who you follow?
Oh, that's always so difficult. I don't know. I don't have anyone specific. I don't know. Nothing comes in my mind. If this would be on the flash questions you asked before, I would fail the test. So here I am, sort of not failing, but failing.
How do you keep up with all the new design trends?
Here's the thing. I don't like following trends, and I don't know if there is a design trend going on in general. Like stuff, especially last year, stuff are changing so fast, and I mean, like you get influenced a lot from things that you see online, but I tend, when I'm brainstorming, I tend to go back and see different fields that I haven't checked. Like I love to explore a lot in typography, and the trend that I'm actually really liking right now, and I'm trying to keep up with it, is the 3D trend. Like I love what people are doing with 3D. Like a lot of, before when you thought about 3D artists, you thought of people doing like abstract stuff for movies and stuff like that. But right now, there are a lot of designers who are just focused on 3D and are making some crazy stuff on Cinema 4D and stuff like that.
Great. Someone asked you, do you ask your girlfriend for post feedback before you post it?
I knew you would choose that one. Yes, most of the times, well, I would say it's 50-50, but always she gives me good feedback. But there are times that she gives me really bad feedback, and I'm like, oh man, maybe I should really think about this, because she's always so positive about everything that I'm doing. So, but it's good. I mean, this is something that all should take in mind, that when you're doing something better, don't ask a professional, because they're going to give you detailed stuff about design that probably you already know, or you made decisions to have them like that. But if you ask other people who are not that much into design, but like they like the aesthetics and they're like more see it on different perspective, those are the people who you should ask more, because they're going to give you a different feedback that you wouldn't get from your colleague sitting next to you that's doing basically the same as you.
That is such a good advice, and I think that would be a perfect note to finish our interview and conversation today. Thanks a lot, Vasjen. It was such a pleasure to talk to you, and you're really an inspiration to all of us. So thanks for doing your incredible work.
Thank you very much. I mean, I really appreciate this, and I know that I mean, it was short, but if people have more questions and stuff like that, you can always. I love to have these. Like you can write me personally. I will try to go through the comments. I know I have hundreds of messages there, but I promise I find some time like answering a few but this was fun. Thank you very much. I mean,
Thank you.
I would love to come to London. Next time I'm there, I'm gonna
Definitely.
let you know and meet also the team.
Absolutely. Yeah,
cool.
great. And guys, we will upload this video on YouTube and we'll share the link. So probably having a discussion there would be the best place because the video on Instagram will disappear in 24 hours. But we can keep our conversation there. And yeah, thanks a lot, guys, for joining us.
Thank you. And thanks everyone for joining. It was nice seeing all your comments and yeah, inspiring. Thank you very much.
Brilliant.
All right.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.